Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not. What's crack? I like it. I forgot about that. We're back on the Harry Potter train. After skipping a day, I'm gonna try to knock out two, maybe three. These are long movies. We'll see. But right now we're talking about Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the fourth film, and what is actually a pretty decent film. I always say the first four films are solid, and then they just start to drop. This one, I think I was in most anticipation of this one because of the fact that I didn't read the whole book. I tried to read the book, but I owned the book. And when I heard they were finally going to make it, I tried to read the book again. It didn't go well because so my thing is when I read a book, I need to read it from start to finish. So if I've started reading the book and then stopped, when I go back, especially if it's been a while because I don't read books often, I have to restart the book. I think I restarted reading this book in particular about 7 times and never finished it. I always got a few chapters in. It's a big book. It's like this thick. Uh, Not the biggest book. I think five is the biggest book, and I believe they took a lot out of the movie, which is fine because the fact that they kept putting stuff from the books that was pretty much filler. I can say without a doubt in this one that everything that they've added into this fit in some way, shape, or form with the story they're trying to tell. There's no extra little thing. I couldn't really think of anything in here that I could take out and it wouldn't affect the story. There's just a lot. So, well, one thing, Harry and Ron being at each other's throats could have been taken out. And the idea of a Tri-Wizard tournament with 4 wizards doesn't really make much sense. Especially when you think that Cedric Diggory, who's being built with this big guy, was technically only introduced in this one, although I guess there was a cameo from him in the previous film by a different actor, but now it's played by Robert Pattinson. Yes, Edward from the Twilight movies before he went sparkly. But uh yeah, the Tri-Wizard tournament with 4 wizards. That's not a Tri-Wizard tournament. Why? As I'm watching this, the only thing I'm thinking is, why did Cedric need to be involved in this? Because from the beginning to end, his fate is predetermined to coincide with Harry. So, like, everything is, they're helping each other out. They touch the cup at the same time at the end. And then, oh, we don't need him anymore. Avada Kedavra, he's dead. Why was he needed in this movie to begin with? Why was he needed in the story to begin with? What is the point? Other than to have a character that dies, could have been Crumb. To be fair, Crumb could have been Harry's main uh, competition in this. And then he's the one that's killed at the end. Because they both reach at the same time. And Crumb starts arguing, and Harry realizes, oh no, this is not where we're supposed to be. And then, yeah. Then he gets killed. There's really no need for such a Diggory to be a part of this. There's no point. It would have had the same effect, I think. Maybe not as sad as you would think, but I don't know. Crumb doesn't really do anything. He could have been presented as a sort of antagonist for Harry in this Triwizard Tournament. I don't know. There's also, after watching the movie again, there's a big shame on this movie for, and I know it's a plot point from the book, but like the misuse of David Tennant it's a little bit of a negative for me. I just feel like if you're gonna hire David Tennant to play a character, maybe a character with more screen time. Just saying, use a few scenes here and there, and then bye. The scenes at the end, though, scenes that he's in, though, are good. He's very, very good, of course, as David Tennant. But we start off with a big, big plus to this. No Dursleys. And it's this way in the book as well. It starts with Harry having a dream, which is what this starts out with. That's what the book... I can only go as far as the Quidditch World Cup. That's as far as I remember reading to. But this is very accurate. The only question I have is that we are led to believe that this is Harry because of his connection to Voldemort. He's having these dreams. Later in the film, it is purposely shown. It is very much shown, not purposely, but very much shown that these are from Harry's point of view. They're his dreams. So why are we following the groundsman caretaker of the Riddle House in his first dream? Maybe he's sort of piggybacking on him, but, when we see Voldemort sitting in a chair, we don't really see him, with Peter Pettigrew, or Wormtail as they're calling him now. He's called by Pettigrew later in the film as well. And another mysterious man who's played by David Tennant. We don't know who he is yet. And he's setting up some sort of mission for him. We don't know what it is. And then the caretaker sees this and gets killed. And Harry wakes up. And they're in a tent. The Weasley's tent or something. And... yeah. And they're getting ready to do something. We don't know yet, but they're gonna go on a walk with the Weasleys. Harry is already with the Weasleys and Hermione, and they're walking, and we meet Cedric Diggory and his father, who is part of the Ministry of Magic. And then we also meet Barty Crouch Sr., played by the actor who played John Lumick in Doctor Who. And Doctor Who watch. Okay, let's talk about this, because this is a British film series. So we're going to have a lot of them, and I haven't been bringing it up till this point. But let's start listing them here. So the actor who played John Lumick is Barty Crouch Sr. I knew that. David Tennant plays Barty Crouch Jr. Michael Gambon was in the 11th Doctor Christmas special, Christmas Carol, right? What else was there? I had it. The actor who plays Dean Thomas is actually the son of William Russell, who played Ian, one of the very first. Ian Chamberlain was his last name? I don't know. One of the very first companions of the first Doctor, played by William Hartnell. David Bradley would actually play William Hartnell in the biofilm about the first Doctor, but also he would play the first Doctor in Twice Upon a Time. Moaning Myrtle herself was in the fan favorite episode, Love and Monsters. She's the cement block chick. Yes. There's one more. Mark Williams, who plays Mr. Weasley, would play Rory Williams' father in series 7 of the show in the first half. So there you have it. Those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head, I think. But, yes. So, they're going to the Quidditch World Cup, but they have to get to this boot that's in the middle of nowhere that they say is a port key. And I'll say, they do a good job through each of these films of introducing something early on in the film that will come back around later. So you gotta always pay attention. What's that? It's a port key. That might come in handy later, and it does. So yeah, and while they're at the World Cup, the Death Eaters arrive and cause havoc, leaving the Dark Lord symbol in the sky, and that strange man from the dream we see again. We don't know he's Buddy Crouch Jr. yet. We find out later, but he's there again, and he sees Harry and might do something, but then takes off when Ron and Hermione come back. For some reason, the Minister of Magic thinks Harry is responsible for this. I don't know why, but who cares? Back to Hogwarts we go, as we find out that Hogwarts will be the host to the Tri-Wizard Tournament. Now, it is implied that it is only this year that they have decided, because of the dangers, that you must be 17 years or older to compete. At least 17 years old to compete. Which implies that this is the first time that's been a rule. I don't know. I mean, and obviously do that because of what happened with the Death Eaters, but I don't know. We're also introduced to, in a very, like, freaky way, a freaky, scary, kind of dark way. It's a abrupt way, I guess I should say, to Mad Eye Moody, who is a new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, played by Brendan Gleeson, whose son would go on to play a Weasley later on. Was it Bill or Charlie? One of the two. But he would show up later. I think this is the first one without Percy. I don't remember seeing him. There's also a new unnecessary love interest for Harry. She's in the books too. Her name is Cho. She's Chinese. Her appearances only have any kind of relevance in this one and the next one, where we've established in this one that Harry has a crush on her, but she also likes Cedric Diggory, and then they establish the next one they like each other, but she's still mourning Cedric. I don't know. But because, the Tri-Wizard Tournament's only available to those who are 17, the Weasley twins, and I guess this is a scene you could have taken out. You want to have a little bit of funny, I guess. But at the end of the day, the scene doesn't really matter. They tried to use a potion to make the cup, the Goblet of Fire, the titular Goblet of Fire, believe they're older than they are. But it doesn't work, and then they get turned into old men and start arguing. Kind of could have cut that. I don't know. But we see that Cedric and Crumb have both put their names in, along with another female student from the other. So Crumb was at the World Cup. And again, you could have set him up as a villain if he was a secret Death Eater, like his family's connected to the Death Eaters, especially since it's told to us that the headmaster of this school that he's from is a former Death Eater, which we find out more about in flashbacks when, what it is. What it is. But, I don't know why I said it like that, no. But, sorry. I just shaved my head, so I'm very itchy to, So, when it's now time to announce the participants in the Tri-Wizard Tournament, of course, the 3 star students that we've been shown all get it. Crumb and Cedric, and I think her name is Fawn. Fawn, I think. They all get it, but then Harry Potter's name comes flying out, which, I don't know, really draws some ire from the other students. Ron becomes a little prick afterwards, thinking Harry put it in there, but you idiot, you saw what it did to your brothers when they tried to fool it. Why would it work for Harry? I don't know. But yeah. So there will be 3 different tasks that they'll have to complete. 3 different challenges, I guess I should say. Because there's the Tri-Wizard tournament. It's not only 3 wizards, but now it's 4, but there's 3 challenges. They probably should have added a 4th challenge with a 4th wizard, but I don't know. I guess it makes it simple if we're tied, which we are tied by the time we get in Cedric and Harry being tied. They each have a win, you know. But yeah, Ron and Harry are kind of at each other's throats here for no real reason. As I don't know, because like at one point I think Dumbledore says to keep your friends close. So obviously something's going on where it's jealousy, you know. Oh, another scene I could have taken out: the ball. I get why they gotta have it. There's 3 schools. You get that. Whatever. Goes a bit long in the tooth. I'm just saying. It goes a bit long in the tooth with this whole scene where they're just dancing and I mean it's not long, but it feels like if you took it out, if you just said we had a ball. I don't know, there's a bunch of talking early on about who they're gonna ask. Harry wants to ask Cho, but she was already asked by Cedric. Again, like I said in my review for the Last American Virgin, been there. You like a girl. Again, I never got up the courage to ask her anything, but there's some other guy you knew. But so we have our first challenge, dragons. Dragons, as Hagrid takes Harry out to the middle of the woods to show that they have brought dragons. And Ron knew about the dragons but didn't say anything because they're at odds. And later, Mad-Eye Moody will rant that Hagrid would have known about the dragons unless he told him. But, like, couldn't you have cut through all that and just had Ron tell him? You go to great lengths to add extra bullshit you don't need. And I get, for a book, you can't, if you want to have a certain amount of page, you gotta have more description, whatever. But if you could take out some bullshit by not having them at each other's throats, and Ron say, "Oh, I heard from my brother they're bringing in dragons. Dragons, Harry. Can you imagine? You know? I don't know. You didn't need Mad-Eye Moody to manipulate everything. You know? It is a bit unnecessary. You know? Like, oh, they're at odds, so how is he going to find out about the dragons? Oh, Mad-Eye Moody told Hagrid, who told Harry. It's just like, why couldn't Ron just tell him? Why did they have to? There's no point for them to beat each other's throats in this movie. Jealousy's a thing, sure, but there's really no point to it. There is no point. The thing with the dragon is you have to... each dragon is guarding an egg. And so you have to get that egg, and once you get it, then you win. So it takes a little while, but he gets it. And Harry is the one who wins this challenge. The first challenge he wins, But the egg, when you open it, it emits a screeching sound, which is not good. You don't know what, So you have a certain amount of time to figure out, what is. There was a point where, this is important, I guess. Harry tells Cedric that dragons are the first challenge. So Cedric pays it back and says, hey, the prefect's bathroom, a nice place to take a bath, and bring your egg. So he does, and it doesn't really do anything until Moaning Myrtle shows up, and oh my god, this scene. Pay no mind to the fact that they put it in the movie. Like, I get it. It's from the book. I get it. But this just... I don't know. It has a very creepy tone to this scene. Just... Moaning Myrtle shows up, and Harry's trying to cover himself up with bubbles. And she's like, why don't you put the egg underwater? That's what the Diggory boy did. So he does that. And then he opens it, and it plays a song that says there's mermaids. But then it kind of cuts to Moaning Myrtle is now also underwater with Harry. Harry's naked, and this ghost girl is just underwater with him. It's not a good thought, and it just doesn't. No, and I don't know. I know she's basically CGI, so I don't think the actress was actually there. I think she was CGI put on there. And I don't know how they do that thing. But if you don't know, this actress was in her 20s playing a teenager because she has some sort of disorder. That makes it a little even more creepy, but I don't know. Again, it's probably CGI. She wasn't actually there, and he wasn't actually naked. But it's just the idea, the thought of it that makes you go, yeah, no. Then we have the ball after this, I think, or the balls before this. I don't care about the ball. Hagrid also has a thing for the headmistress of the all-girls school that doesn't really go anywhere. It's here and there, whatever. But then Harry goes to visit Dumbledore, and he has a. I thought that the Looking Glass thing was in the second one, but apparently it's a memory glass thing, or whatever. He puts his head inside, and he sees a memory of when the headmaster of Grum's Academy, wherever he's from, was being tried for being a Death Eater. And that he could be exonerated if he put out some names. He starts throwing out names, and he's like, yes, and throws out Severus Snape. He's like, and Dumbledore's like, oh, no, Severus Snape is well known, but he ended up being a spy for our side, and he's one of us now. And I love the way that they do this, because you see David Tennant, and he's starting to walk down, because the Minister Barty Crouch Sr. is like, starting to dismiss it. He's like, I have one more to tell you. Barty Crouch. And everyone goes, oh. Then he goes, Junior. I love the pause. Barty Crouch. Junior. And so and then you get a, that he does with his tongue. And again, David Tennant, very good in this scene. Wish he would have been in this more. And I know it's from the book, but, scriptwriters can have some liberties with their source material. You could have had an air of mystery of, oh, it's Mad-Eye Moody, but nobody knows what Mad-Eye Moody looks like. But then again, they knew what Barty Crouch Jr. would look like, so I don't know. Just another way. You could have cast someone who wasn't as good as actor as David Tennant. And it's not just because I'm a Doctor Who fan, but he's a brilliant actor, and he is wasted in this because he's in so few scenes. And he pops out. So it's like his memories are put in there or something. I don't know. And then Snape confronts him, and he says that he believes someone's been stealing stuff to make Polyjuice Potion. Oh, but this is after the second thing. So, I'm going ahead. So we have the second task, which is mermaid stuff. You have to go underwater. Someone who is very important to you has been taken, and you have to get them. You have to be underwater the whole time. So, Neville comes up with the idea to use gillyweed so that Harry can breathe underwater. That is cheating. I know this is a school for magic, but no one else uses this. Ron is the one that he's put in task of saving. Okay. So he has to go and save Ron, but the Fawn, I think her name is unable to save her sister, so Harry goes back to save her, and Cedric ends up winning due to I don't remember who the hell he had to save, but he saved them quick enough. But Harry is awarded second place for saving not only Ron, but Fawn's sister as well. But here's my issue with this. they were just gonna let the sister die? I don't think so. There's no way that this tournament funded by a school was going to let this person die. So it was unnecessary for Harry to even go back and save her because they weren't going to let her die. It makes no sense that they would set these characters up and let them just die. I don't know. By the way, Malfoy's role in these movies just gets shorter and shorter. He's in this. He doesn't do anything. Grab and Goyle are with him. They don't do anything. Not really. Few yelling out some bad words at him or something. It's like not bad words. It's like just like being mean to him or something. But it doesn't really amount to anything. Again, Crumb could have been the villain. It could have been a villain. You don't really have well, Voldemort, I guess. But yeah, we come to the final leg of this, maze, which was already seen at the beginning of this movie in the dream, but it's a different maze. But it's made to be that's outside the Riddle house. But this is not. I guess where they go is a graveyard, not the Riddle house. So is the Riddle house on the other side? I don't know. But they find that things are not going to be as simple as things. People might change. It might be different. Professor Moody has been put in task of. Back to the scene with Snape. Before I get into anything, Snape confronts Harry about missing components of a Polyjuice potion and thinks that they're using a Polyjuice potion again. He didn't know about that. At least in the movie version, he didn't. Because the Polyjuice, unless Hermione having to go to the nurse to get it reversed, kind of got it spread throughout the school. Other than that, no one really found out about them using the Polyjuice potion. At least within the confines of the movie, they didn't. Somehow Snape knows. I don't know. And confronts Harry about it. Now, if you're wise, you immediately start thinking of who it could actually be. Who's the guy who keeps opening up a flask and taking a drink all the time? And it's shown in almost every scene that he's in doing that. Just saying. So now we're at the final thing. It's a chase through the maze to get to the Triwizard Cup, which Mad-Eye Moody has placed in the center of it. And during this we see that Crumb has been charmed, cursed, turned into he's like a werewolf or something. I forgot to mention something else too early on during Moody's only classroom session that we see him in. He teaches them about the 3 forbidden curses, basically. They are the Cruciatus curse, which is that the one forces you to. There's a curse that forces you to do whatever the person holding the wand's bidding to do. There's another curse that what's the first one? The one that there's another one that just tortures you, it hurts you, and then there's another one, Avada Kedavra, that Lucius Malfoy was going to use in the second movie, by the way, that just straight up kills you. And we see that when he kills the spider. And if you're paying attention to the movies like I am, this is your first time going through, and you pay attention enough in the first time going through them. Wait a minute, wasn't that what Lucius Malfoy was going to use in the second film? I mean, he was going to... Yeah, it's a hint that there's something else going on about Malfoy, who shows up again in this movie with a brief cameo early on, and then, yeah. So, they race, going back towards the end of the movie now. They race to the cup. And again, I don't really get the necessary. Harry goes back to help Cedric. And says, like, just do it. He goes, we both will do it. Again, you could just had Harry grab it and be sent there by himself. There's no need for Cedric to go with him. There's no need for this character to die. There's no need. It adds nothing to the plot. It has nothing. If you say, well, it alerts them that Voldemort is back. But the next movie and book, what happens at the beginning of the next book and movie, completely undermines that because undermines that because they're immediately trying to bury the fact that Voldemort is back. Whatever, they get there and Wormtongue kills Cedric right away. Again, wasn't needed, but and then they have to create an evil potion thing to bring Voldemort back. One of the bones of Voldemort's father, the hand, like Wormtongue's hand. I'm assuming it's the one he's already missing the finger from. And then the blood of Harry Potter, blood of his enemy, which Voldemort, and it brings him back. And they say that Harry Potter's blood now flows through Voldemort. They already had a connection before this. You just made it stronger. Yeah. And so then they try to kill Harry. The Death Eaters are there. But he kills all the Death Eaters but one. Voldemort does. And reveals that Lucius is one of them. And has been the most loyal. So he lets him go. But then he goes to kill Harry. Which we later find out he can't do. Without other things. But he goes to do it, but he's saved by ghosts of his parents and Cedric and the groundskeeper guy for some reason. And Cedric's like, take my body, go back. Because we need his body as proof. The character has died, so we can say that Voldemort is back. That's the only reason why he takes. Again, you didn't need this character to die. But he does. So he goes back, everyone's celebrating because I forgot to mention, the cup is a port key. This is why I introduced that earlier. And the curses, because he uses Avada Kedavra to kill Cedric, so. Yeah. We're not done yet. Everyone is celebrating, and then they realize Cedric is dead. And of course, they blame Harry, and he's like, oh, Voldemort did it. Voldemort did it. And, then Moody takes him up to the tower. And this is where we get the reveal that Mad-Eye Moody is not who he says he is. He starts to act erratic. And you have to realize he was the one taking the Polyjuice Potion before anything can happen. He says he's going to kill Harry Potter, which, again, with what we know later, wouldn't be possible. And I don't know. But, nope. Because Dumbledore, Snape, and McGonagall come bursting in. And Snape uses his truth serum that he hinted at earlier. Because we got a hint at that. And gives it to Moody. Are you Alistair Moody? No. Is he in this room? He's locked in a magical chest. He's still alive. Kind of like Emil Manavarius in the Scooby-Doo movie. It came out before this, but the book came out before that. So, I don't know who's ripping off who. I don't know. But he starts to change back and is revealed to be Barty Crouch Jr. Yeah, oh, by the way, Barty Crouch Sr. was found dead after one of the challenges. I kind of brushed over it. Kind of forgot it, but yeah, he's dead now. So, yeah. And they're just gonna send him back to Azkaban. Find one of the prisoners is missing. Which, I don't know. Didn't Harry say something about Barty Crouch Jr. after he saw the thing? Couldn't Dumbledore checked Azkaban after finding. I don't know. But yeah, and then we get a kind of a weird ending after this. Ron, Hermione, and Harry are talking, and they're sort of goofing up, and then Hermione is looking uneasy and is like, everything's changed now, hasn't it? And Harry's just like, yes, like it is going to change now. Yeah, I did skip over the whole ball thing where there's some character development where like Hermione went with Crumb, and Ron and Harry had to ask out these Indian twins, and I mean Indian as in from India, but it doesn't really go well because they're like me when they go to dances. They just sort of sit there. I don't have a date. What am I gonna do? They have dates. They should really dance with them, but he wants to be with Joe, and Ron wants to be with Hermione, and then she goes off on them for no fucking reason. You just don't get it. You ruined it. I'm like, ruined what? Like, maybe her perfect thing was like to go with Ron. I don't know. They're still in development of the relationship. I don't know. But yeah, it kind of ends with the whole things have changed now. They'll be different, and they walk off. And so we kind of moved on from seeing them get on the train. It's just they walk off and the movie ends. It's pretty good. So far, not so bad. Just to keep track and how I'm doing things. Chamber sequence at the bottom. Then it's this one. Then 3. And then 1. I never thought I'd like 1 more than 3 because 3 is always my favorite. But I don't know. Something about 3 or something about 1 really got to me this time. Like I really, really liked it. And I know I have an affinity for liking the first in a series. You know, Lord of the Rings. I like the first one. Right? A lot of people say that that's the least best of the trilogy. I disagree. And my axe. I don't know. This was a good watch though, so. But I have a feeling I'm not going to be as nice about at least the next one. I do not remember liking 5 at all. Maybe a little bit. But I don't know. This is also the first PG-13 movie in the Harry Potter series. This one. Goblet of Fire. I thought it was the third one. I was wrong. But it's this one. So, what are your thoughts on Harry Potter? Need more mentin. I'm gonna tell you now. What are your thoughts on Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.